Today I'm going to go over the 2 ways to go full-time as a singer. We're going to get right into it. You have to have a great voice or none of this will work out. You need to try to minimize your expenses as much as possible. You got to go minimalist. A lot of those luxury items that you want to get right now will be there once you've made it as a pro singer. Anytime that you spend money, you really need to make sure that it is moving your career as a singer forward. Otherwise, save the money. For this video, I am going to assume that you need $3,000 per month to survive. So it comes out to about $36,000 per year. Like, you know, you're going minimal, but you're comfortable enough, or let's even say you're minimal, but you have some dependents. 2 ways, in person or online. And you have to focus on one at a time. Let's start with live shows. And I'm not going to tell you which one that you should do. This is for you to decide. Let's start with live shows. Let's break it down. Big picture. You would need to sell 2,400 tickets, and that would make you $36,000 per year if you are selling those tickets at $15 per ticket. Well, I say $15 per ticket because when I was doing a lot of like bootstrap touring, and I wasn't some A-list celebrity. In fact, back then I didn't even have a YouTube channel really, okay? But I was touring, I was selling tickets, and I'll get into how I did all that in future videos if you want. But I would sell those tickets for about $15. Because what I found is that obviously no one really knew who I was, but they would still pay $15 to come to a fun show. And also, I could get people in the area to do affiliate deals with me where they could get their friends to buy tickets, and I would give them a percentage of the ticket to help fill the show. And $15 for someone to tell their friend to come to when they didn't really know who the act was, which was me at the time, wasn't too much money. Let's say that you're going to tour for 4 months out of the year. And within those 4 months, you are going to go hard on shows, and you're going to do about 100 shows in a year, which I know sounds like a lot, but for a lot of touring artists and people that I've worked with, they might do 240 shows a year. So 100 shows is definitely doable. And by the way, you can book it yourself. When I was doing my touring bootlegged, and before I actually got an agent, I would call the venue as my agent, and it was me. I had like this whole persona of my agent. But the math breaks down at 2,400 tickets. You have to sell 24 tickets per show. You could do that. You could do that just by going on location in Instagram. You could do that just by having 2 people that you know in that city that are willing to do some affiliate deals with you and actually sell tickets to their friends. One show, I sold like 100 tickets off of 1 person. They brought 100 people, and I just did like a ticket split. I gave them $5 out of the $15 in the ticket, and they sold like 100, and it was an awesome show. Now, if we're gonna get into the like nitty gritty or whatever, you would have to sell a little bit more because you have to recoup your costs. But we're keeping it very simple because I just want to open up your mind to what's possible when it comes to being a pro singer. That's pretty much as simple as it gets right there. Now, it can get really complicated the bigger you get. You can get a money pre-show. I've known acts even in Austin, Texas. There would be acts that were not well known, didn't have a big social media presence, and they were doing $5,000 to $10,000 per show because they went after corporate parties. Okay, so there's all kinds of little things you can do while you are on your come up. But just keeping it simple, let's talk about you selling tickets. You would need to do that 2,400 tickets in a year, which comes out to 24 tickets per show if you're going to do 100 shows that year. That is doable. Now let's talk about the online space. The way that you are going to make revenue as a singer online is going to be your ad revenue for YouTube covers, YouTube videos, different things like that. Sponsorship. Companies would sponsor you, or maybe even like Singer sponsors you, or we do an affiliate deal or something like that. You can make a lot of money with that. Streaming. Okay, so Spotify, Apple Music, streaming sites, that's going to be slow at first, but that will compound and can build into a lot of income. If you want to study someone that did that, study the artist named Russ, R-U-S-S. Patreon, which I'm a big fan of right now. We can talk about that in a bit. Like, you can get creative and do custom songs for your fans where, you know, your key fans are willing to spend a little bit more money with you to support you, and you will actually make them a custom song. That can be great. I mean, I've known artists that will charge thousands of dollars for that because they have a couple rich fans. You know, they appeal to like an older generation, and people are just like, oh my gosh, yeah, I want to give my wife this for Christmas, and it's like 5 G's for, you know, a little custom song. So you can get really creative with that. If we're doing the 36,000, you only need about what, like 7 or 8 fans that would be willing to do that, and you have our budget if we're going off that 36,000 a year, right? Other thing would be merch and other products. I've never been a big fan of merch. That sells better when you're doing concerts. So if we're gonna break down online, just to be completely honest, streaming is going to take you a while. I wouldn't even think about making much income off that at the very beginning. Ad revenue is gonna be the same thing. Sponsorship probably will be the same thing. Patreon, I think, is a huge winner if you are starting from complete scratch. And if we break those numbers down, all you need is 300 fans supporting you at $10 per month. And what you can do in Patreon is that's where you can release your music, behind the scenes content, some form of exclusive content that your fans would actually want. Not just here's money, but like they actually would want it. I'll be honest, I support a bunch of people's patrons. I'm like a sucker when it comes to just joining people's monthly things. If I like them and if they provide me a good service, oh my gosh, unlock access to all this exclusive content of some of my favorite artists. Heck yeah, I actually do that. You would be surprised. You could get to that 300 mark sooner than you would think if you're willing to take action. Then obviously you have all these other streams, but those aren't going to happen immediately. Streaming can make a lot of money, but it's going to take some time. The other thing when it comes to online is you have to be prepared to make a lot of content. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of content, because these algorithms are insane and they want a lot of content. So be prepared for that. Which one should you do? That's up to you. They're both going to take time, and they're both going to take a hustle. Like, you're going to have to grind at it to really make it work. But my number one advice is don't try to do both at the same time. Pick one. And it depends on what you feel most motivated by, because both can absolutely work. It's just which gets you more excited that you would be willing to grind for, you'd be willing to hustle for, because that is your dream and you want to make it work. I know some clients that I work with, when it comes to working on their voice, their goal is to be like a YouTube celebrity. Their goal is to be like Boyce Avenue, you know, where they're like getting millions of views on their covers, on their originals. And they don't really have a desire to do live shows. And then I'll work with other clients where they just want to do live shows. They don't care for any of this stuff. They don't want to do with any of this. None of this is going to work if you don't have a voice that you're confident in and that other people love. So before anything, you've got to get that voice. You know, take a day and really think, like soul search. What do I want to start with? What would I want to commit the next year to really make it happen and hit that 36,000 a year mark? Because you absolutely can do it. Want me to work with you one-on-one to accelerate your singing and music career? I can help you develop an iconic voice 10 times faster. I used to suck at singing. Yeah! Now my songs have been heard by millions, and you probably have some of my clients in your Spotify playlist. I think it's time that you become one of them. If you're serious, apply on my site and we can schedule a breakthrough call to talk more about your music goals and how I could potentially help you achieve them. Don't wait to apply because spots are filling up. I'll talk to you soon.